Hi, this is Frank with a Frank Opinion. There's a movement afoot called Force the Vote on Medicare for All. It was sparked by a comedian who's also a political activist and social commentator by the name of Jimmy Dore. He has the Jimmy Dore show on YouTube, and it has sparked considerable controversy. Is this the time to pressure the most progressive members of Congress at the moment, especially newly elected progressives over the last 2 years and currently in this session, to expend political capital at this early moment in their careers on saying to Nancy Pelosi, we will not support you for Speaker of the House of Representatives for another term, and that vote takes place tomorrow, Sunday, December 3rd, unless you pledge to bring Medicare for All to the floor for a full House vote. I, for one, think that this movement has a lot of purpose, that it's necessary, that it is at a historic point in time in our country when we are undergoing the ravages of a pandemic, when 15 to 17 million Americans have been thrown off of their health insurance because it was tied to employment, where an additional 70 to 80 million Americans are either without insurance or underinsured, and that's been the case for decades. It's a historic moment, and it's one that may not come again soon. So I'm here to tell you that from my experience and my witnessing the halls of political power, that elected officials are addicted to political power. And they're addicted to political power for the wrong reasons. And it's not really, for the most part, in terms of the great majority of elected officials, about improving your quality of life, improving the quality of life and opportunity of every American in the United States. It's not about that. Let me tell you what it might be about. Elected officials early on, probably on their first day, and it doesn't matter whether we're talking about Washington, D.C., but that's the case now, or a state capital. There's an intoxication by that place that happens on day one. The grandeur of the halls of Congress, the architecture, the artwork, the expanse, the history. It's really wonderful. It was for me when I used to work in state government, going through the halls of Albany's Capitol building, which is very majestic. The power lunches that take place simply by having been elected to political office, especially at the national level, next in line, state capitals. Those power lunches that are paid for by corporations, by your salary and benefits as an elected official, with heads of state, etc. Power lunches in the best restaurants. Access as a player. You get to feel your self-importance grow immeasurably because you're invited to this or that meeting, because you've behaved in this or that way. And let me come to that. The media attention that you get, the deference that people pay to you, deference by constituents back home that try to get at the head of the line in order to meet the elected official, deference in the halls of Congress, deference by staff members, deference by less senior elected officials, deference by committee chairs, and the amazing perks that come with the job. The salary, it's not bad for the number of days that you work, the outrageous health benefits, the travel, the added income that you get because of the income that you get going from your district to Washington and back. There are all kinds of perks that are too numerous to list here. Those are addicting. But there's also the addiction of the job itself in terms of, what do I do if it wasn't for this? So I wonder if Nancy Pelosi, who's been there for 33 years, has gotten so used to the benefits of the office, all these other things, that she can't leave, that she can't step down, that she can't groom somebody else. And therefore, she's running for Speaker once again. But here's the thing. She's been an enemy of Medicare for All for years. How do you pay for that? I'm not a fan of that. Her feelings about this and her machinations with regard to or overseeing the scam of the 11 and a half hours of committee hearings on the H.R. 1384 bill, the Medicare Act for 2019, may not have been observable to most eyes, but it was observable to these peepers right here, and it was a sham. We have an opportunity right now not only to get Medicare for All to a full floor vote and exert some power that has to do with raising the quality of life and opportunity of citizens of the United States. Not because it's left or right or center or conservative or libertarian or what have you, because it's the right thing to do. Will it win? If she does bring it to the floor. Will it win? Questionable at best. But it begins to allow a change in the culture and a change in the focus from these perks to you, to your family, your children, your grandchildren. It also, hopefully, will turn around the eyeballs of progressives that are truly progressive, those that were elected in the last 2 years, the last go-around, and this year, to say to themselves, I'm going to be addicted not to these things on the former page. I'm going to be addicted to serving my constituents, to doing the right thing, to do the human thing. Healthcare for all is the least of these and the most of these at the same time, particularly now within a pandemic. So to Rashida Tlaib, to Cori Bush, to AOC, etc., you should begin to use this ask of Nancy Pelosi as a way of changing it from that list that I just gave you to the exhilaration, the addictive quality of talking to your constituents on a steady basis, of informing your constituents on a steady basis, of asking of your constituents, listen, tell me, I've got a tough decision to make here. I believe you should have guaranteed health care. I believe that you're spending too much. You'll be saving a lot of money. Not really socialism. It's the right thing to do. I'd like to fight for that. But in fighting for that, I take a risk in my position in Washington as your elected official. I may not be invited to certain meetings. I may be taken off certain committees. I may be given a wink to somebody else when I'm asking Speaker of the House for this or that, or for a committee chairman. The body language of a particular chair of a committee or somebody in a higher up level position may be askew, may be changed in order to put forth the signal that you do not have the ear of the person in charge. Yes, there are consequences, but those consequences can be mitigated by the power that comes from the people, from the citizenry, from the constituents of the elected official. And that's where it's got to come from. And if you grab that by working hard in the district, you should be able to overcome anything that Nancy Pelosi or anybody else puts you through, because you did the right thing. You did the right thing by voting for a floor vote for Medicare for all. Force the vote. Thank you.